Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Pinball FX2. So today we are going to do Civil War, Marvel Civil War. I guess high impressions. Civil War is a big deal in Marvel. Last time we did Mars, it was a pretty good table. A little dull, but playable, definitely playable. One of the good ones, one of the few good ones. The other thing that came about there is I just counted how many tables we have left to go through, and to balance it out between the Marvel, which has twice as many things as the Star Wars combined, we're gonna have to start cycling through it. So we're gonna do Civil War, then Star Wars, Starfighter Assault, then we will do Avengers, then Excalibur, and then we will do Fear Itself, then the next Star Wars. So we're going to just always go back to a Civil War, every other one until we're done.
Civil War.
Not to a Civil War, but to a Marvel one. The achievements are break into the prison and start the ambush with Captain America on Civil War. I haven't read Civil War, so I only know a few things about it. Lead a successful ambush with Iron Man on Civil War. And I'm also not sure if this is more about the comic book version of Civil War or if this is the movie version of Civil War. That too will certainly make a slight difference, since the movie is
Today in Stamford, Connecticut, a violent clash between superheroes and supervillains near an elementary school resulted in a monstrous explosion. The recent call for superhuman registration has reached an all-time high after this unspeakable tragedy.
So we're starting with the multi-ball. Again, weird. And
survivors by the school's
this is the comic book.
Got survivors over here.
And that was the end of the
silence. Masked heroes have been a part of this country for as long as anyone can remember. Registration takes away any freedom we might have, any autonomy. Heroes didn't cause what happened at Stamford, Tony.
It's saying choose a side.
You think I don't know that? Registration won't stop every tragedy, Steve, but people in our position need accountability. I wish it didn't have to be this way.
And see, it was always Iron Man versus Captain America, but I think it was the other way around in the comic book, so this may be a slight mix. I can either choose Iron Man or Captain America. Let's go ahead with Captain America, I guess. You know what they didn't do here, though, is that I didn't see it fly around the table or anything like that. It just jumped into the game. It's a little interesting. So we have some red and blue ramps, and a lot of ramps, and there's the skill shot.
Come on, soldier, don't let me down!
And there's like this allies and enemies board on the right, where I guess I'm gonna try to get people on the sides.
Fall back, Avengers! Regroup!
So we have, let's see, SHRA, the Superhuman Registration Act, Superhuman Registration Act, popularity. Now Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now is certainly dealing with the fallout of that.
The Human Torch has sided with Iron Man.
Human Torch apparently is an enemy now. From Fantastic Four. Was that something I did, or is it simply a timer thing? And it says, don't register, register. Frankly, I would say practically on any registration thing, don't register.
Spider-Man has joined to the pro-registration forces.
So Spider-Man is a enemy again? So I need to gain allies quickly. Otherwise this is going to be one-sided battle. Like, in the real world, I'm not even sure you should register your children with Social Security, which seems like a crazy thing to say, and is a crazy thing to say, but you know, having less information in databases that will almost certainly eventually be hacked is probably a decent thought. But practically, I would say yes, probably register. However, I would say don't fingerprint your kids when the police do those drives, because those fingerprints are being voluntarily given
Cage has decided to fight alongside Iron Man.
To the police, and they get put in the database, all right. So if your kid does choose
Not fighting for the people
40
anymore.
years later to
We're
commit a
just
crime,
Fighting. Stand down.
they will have those fingerprints still on file and run them. So yeah, I wouldn't give that. You're limiting your kids' potential illegal activity opportunities, which it's not worth it. It's silly. I would try to stay out of as many databases. Don't put your kids on Facebook and
Today in
all
Stamford,
that. All right, so
Connecticut,
let's
a violent
skip this
clash
multi-ball.
between superheroes and supervillains near an elementary
Since
school
that was a really
resulted
short
in
one,
a
that's a
monstrous
mistake.
Picking up life
explosion.
signals over
The
there.
recent call for superhuman registration has reached an all-time high after
moment of
this
silence.
unspeakable tragedy.
It was Stamford that changed things for you, wasn't it, Tony? Before that, you went to Washington to lobby against the Superhuman Registration Act.
Like, and that's
It was
Stanford
coming
is
anyway.
not the
I always thought registration
the
was
reason
inevitable,
in the
though I
movie
did
at
try
all.
to delay
It's
it.
more about Age
But
of
after
Ultron.
Stanford, there was just no stopping it.
And I wonder if maybe there was there probably was a school shooting or something that happened too close to when the Civil War movie came out that they chose not to either shoot that footage or go that way with the story. It would be a very dangerous thing to do because school shootings and such do happen and often enough that it would look tacky for people who don't know.
Tony's people are disappearing by the hour.
So now I'm playing Iron Man's side, and I'm just gonna
Focus.
get
with the program.
fail to get any allies. But to get specifically down to the Superhuman Registration Act, yeah, no. That's it. Literally offered no benefit whatsoever as it's put forward. It's straightly by the force of
I thought you said you knew
either
what you
you
were doing,
register or we're gonna arrest you. And you're talking about arresting people with superpowers, and they're already vigilantes, so they're already breaking the law. They already know that. So why would you register as somebody who's breaking the law? Maybe you could claim the Avengers are working within some form of government, but they're working for S.H.I.E.L.D. that really isn't within any form of government. At least it originally wasn't. It was always a secret organization that ran by its own thing. Oh, these ramps, I just realized these ramps are handing the ball out on the other side of the slingshots. That sucks. The worst you have to do in the
This
real
isn't
world
what I
is if
wanted.
you're male, or perhaps if
Not
you're
at all.
female in the future in the United States, is you have to register for selective
Today in
services,
600
which is the
innocents
draft.
lost their
but,
lives in Stamford, Steve, all because of reckless attempts at superheroics. Can I count on your support of the Superhuman Registration Act?
But the thing about
Sorry,
selective
Tony,
services,
but you're asking me to
if
arrest people
a
who risk
draft
their
is
lives for
almost
this country
certainly
every
never
day of
gonna
the
be
week.
started
Superheroes need to
again.
stay above politics, or Washington starts telling us who the
unless-
supervillains are.
unless we lost all of our technological advancements and nobody, there was no patriotism at all in the United States, which if there was no patriotism in the United States, then probably the United States would have no
Get with
chance
the
of
program.
staying together at all.
I thought you said you
The
knew
draft
what you were
was
doing,
needed
Tony.
in World War II because they were doing a very old trench warfare style of attacking, where they were literally just throwing bodies at bullets. They sent people running towards people with guns and just shoot. And nowadays we don't do that. We have RVs. We have
This isn't exactly what I
small
signed up for.
units that are highly trained. We have tanks. We have drones. We are much more closer to, in the United States, being able to fight entire wars without any humans involved at all, directly involved. Our military is so advanced. So yeah, you do and probably should register for selective services and more,
Mr. Stark's
because
orders.
they check it. It's a felony not to, first of all, and they check it whenever you apply to go to college or anything, and you probably want to at least think about going to college. And several other things. Like Social
Benjamin
Security
Grimm,
could be
also known as the Thing,
cut
has
off.
left the Fantastic
Medicare
Four
might be
and the
able to cut
country after an epic battle among heroes.
It's all insanity out there, and I don't want no part of it.
Families torn apart, old friends fighting one another.
Evasive
Stop
maneuver.
resisting the Registration Act and help me change things from within.
So Ben Grimm just left. Time froze? Interesting. This is very interesting for the table to go red like this. We need to look at the instructions on this table. This is a crazy table. It's trying to tell a story
Ms.
here.
Marvel is Captain America's latest recruit.
Just in time.
And it seems like everybody will join the other side. If you're not really, really good.
Luke Cage has joined Captain America's underground movement.
Luke Cage. Luke Cage hasn't even done. Hasn't even had his Netflix TV series to introduce him as a character. So we're not getting a lot of score here,
Today in Stanford.
but let's start with the table guide. So Stanford multi-ball, it's kind of bad to have a multi-ball at the beginning. I still don't like that idea. And I feel like the table is probably giving you a multi-ball because you can't get a multi-ball anywhere else. Let's see. Locate survivors, shoot the lanes. To evacuate the survivors, shoot the flashing ramps. The game stores all the all-time high score you achieved during the Stanford multi-ball, and you get this score every time you start a new game. What in the world? This feature enables you to skip the multi-ball, prologue multi-ball, and start the game with your previous high score. You can also recruit an ally to your chosen character's side for 10 rescued hostages. This is insane! It's an all-time high score. This can't work in a real pinball because the pinball tables are probably turned off and then you lose their scores unless they have batteries in them, which modern ones certainly probably would have batteries in them if they wanted to keep that score. But it also means whoever is like the best player in an arcades, that multi-ball high score is what you would get every time. So the high score on that specific table would continuously get higher and higher and higher. It would just build on itself for ridiculously high numbers. After the prologue, you choose Captain America for the anti-superhuman registration or Iron Man for the pro registration. These two characters being on the wrong sides really makes no sense. Captain America is an army soldier. He is registered with everything. He's always working for some government agency. For him to be anti the Registration Act makes a lot less sense than Iron Man being for it. but they wanted to switch it around in the movies, and this feels like it's a weird combination between the two. Unless that really happens. The goal is to convert all of the neutral heroes. Spider-Man, Sentry, let's see, which one's Sentry? Human Torch, Spider-Woman. So Spider-Man's top left, Spider-Woman is to the right of him, Human Torch is at the top right, Miss Marvel is the lower left, Luke Cage is the black guy on the bottom, so second from the right on the lower left, and Vision is the guy in the lower right. So Sentry and Tigra. So Tigra is the second girl on the bottom row, and Sentry is up there on the third from the top, third from the left. And I don't have a clue who Sentry is, or really even Tigra. I kind of know these other ones. If you're playing as Captain America, your aim is to recruit all the heroes to the anti-registration side, while your choice of Iron Man is to lead them to the pro-registration side. And again, why would any of these people be pro-registration at all? The idea here is that a bunch of superheroes that weren't the top tier superheroes and really didn't gel as a team and really didn't know what they were doing went to try and help, and it potentially made things worse, but there's no really evidence of that. In the United States, there actually is laws now, and have been for a few decades, called the Good Samaritan laws, where if you go and try to help somebody getting mugged or anything like that, you can't be particularly arrested if the person getting mugged accidentally gets shot by the bad guy. You could certainly be arrested if you shot the person getting mugged, or if you punched the mugger, the bad guy, and hurt him badly. You would be more protected there too, and so you can turn around to be arrested for assault. And if you take that general idea of that real law, that is at least in some jurisdictions, the idea expands to these superheroes in the Stanford incident, or whatever it was called. Was it the Stanford, not Stanford, but Stamford? If you expand that law and those protections, then there's no reason why this Registration Act makes any more sense. Super Combo hit all these lanes. We need to hurry up registration orbits by hitting those orbits as a hurry up after going in the in lanes, which you don't go in the in lanes when you hit the ramps. That pretty much messes up. If you hit the safe house target there, and then the flashing lane, each time you do that, you get an ally. Shooting the Punisher button that wins the game mode that's currently running, the registration orbits, the raft, the Captain America, the ambush Captain America, or the fight. There's 2 Captain Americas apparently. If none of those game modes are running, the button activates the ball saber. So that's something you'd want to hit a lot. Safe House Iron Man, hitting Safe House twice in quick succession disables a hero from an enemy's roster. The opposing team becomes neutral, thus available to recruit from your faction. Complete both Safe House things. Ambush Iron Man, the raft. Let's hit these. Did that make that sound? Yeah, it did. There's a ball up there. Or something. No drop down targets pop up. Alright. Ambush Captain America. Chase the ball. Raft Iron Man. Freedom of Future. Fights. The fight game mode starts in the fight. Whenever Freedom of Future rewards is spelled, you have to complete 3 consecutive hurry-ups to win the fight. Hit a certain target. the big red flashing markers. The difficulty of the game mode depends on how many allies and enemies you have. The more friends you have, the easier the game mode to complete. You get more time and more targets to shoot. Each successful fight converts a hero from the enemy side to your side. If the enemy does not have any allies, a neutral hero joins your cause. This is a crazy table. Shooting the mini-loop tripper activates the direct hit feature. Also, it's a crazy idea. Getting in physical altercations with the other side is not going to convince most superheroes to join the other side. That would only convince superheroes that only follow strength and nothing else. If anything, they should all be like the Thing and stay out of it and let the two that are fighting. After all the heroes stand on your side, start wizard mode. Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
Today in Stamford, Connecticut, a violent clash between superheroes and supervillains near an elementary school.
So it's 21 minutes and we played a couple games.
The recent call for superhuman registration has reached an all-time high after this unspeakable
This table is so
tragedy.
insane. No talk of any other locking balls for multi-ball. So they did throw the whole multi-ball out the window. Apparently, if you lose the ball,
heroes have been a
that's
part
it.
of this country for as long as anyone can remember. Registration takes away any freedom we might have, any autonomy. Heroes didn't cause what happened at Stamford, Tony. Villains did.
You think I don't know that? Registration won't stop every tragedy, Steve, but people in our position need accountability. I wish it didn't have to be this way.
Like, accountability to who? The government? Please. The government's not accountable to its own self. It's 100% control that they want. And what's funny about the Marvel Universe is She-Hulk is a lawyer, and so in her comic book, some superheroes do get sued for doing things. And so there is kind of an element to that. Like, it's a really weird result. Like, the way DC has done something like this, in comparison, is Superman will get in a fight with some super villain and end up destroying all the big parts of the of Metropolis, and then he'll end up fixing it all real fast because Superman is Superman and he has all the powers in the world. Or Batman will blow up a building or something,
Spider-Man has
and
joined
he'll
to the pro-registration
end up
forces.
as Bruce Wayne funding the repair. See, I mean, superheroes in general are risking their lives to do good at great cost to themselves, so they would want to do as much as they can.
We're not fighting for the people anymore.
Fix it.
We're just fighting.
Today in
600 innocents lost their lives in Stamford, Steve.
See,
all
I
because of
skipped the
reckless attempts at
multi-ball. That was
superheroics.
stupid.
Can I count on your support of the Superhuman Registration Act?
And the idea of
Sorry,
superheroes.
Tony, but you're asking me to arrest people who risk their lives for this country every day of the week.
Yeah.
Superheroes need to stay above politics, or Washington starts telling us who the supervillains are.
I mean, I could not see anybody going for it. It's not even a fair thing. It's not a valid argument at all. And yet, it's forced down the throats of the Marvel Universe, and it is the law of the land in the Marvel Universe. And what happens next? Are kids tested to see if they
Ms.
have...
Marvel is Captain America's latest recruit.
Are they tested at birth to see if they might have superpowers? Are they registered? Then, at a certain point, when does this just become a expanded racism allegory? Like all of the part of the issue here is the X-Men, like Inhumans and mutants, they're born that way.
Just in time.
And that's all that the X-Men series has been about. In most of its biggest stories is people being afraid and wanting to register and segregate the mutants. Even the Xavier School is a segregation of mutants away from normal populace in education. Even though he's trying his best, he's like Xavier. I don't think ever decided
on superhuman registration
that he would just have normal people, normal students in class. And see, that would be a good story. And I guess that's really where the Civil War storyline comes from. I think it probably happened before they lost the rights to Fox, sold the rights to Fox for the X-Men
the Sentry
series.
now strengthens
But
the resistance.
it does kind of, Civil War is kind of just the X-Men general theme.
Kickback activated.
Played on a bigger scale. And this all ends in, it's kind of a spoiler, but not really. Peter Parker
The Human Torch has
revealed
joined with Captain
himself,
America's Secret Avengers.
like, so he takes off his mask, and when people who knew the photographer Peter Parker, and I don't even think he's a photographer anymore. Now he runs an entire like organization. But when they saw that their favorite superhero was willing to
Spider-Woman
reveal his
has
secret
gone
identity,
rogue,
something
joined
he's
with
been
Captain America.
very careful
This isn't exactly what I
About-
signed up for.
keeping to put an end to this. That kind of is the big end. I think either that or Captain America dies, which I don't think is the case. I think Captain America dies later in a different story. They all die eventually. Of course, then Peter Parker revealing his secret identity gets erased by undoing his marriage to Mary Jane. So then that starts its own other can of worms, because then you have Peter Parker never able to be with the main character that we've known him to be with for decades, or comic book fans have. And they're never getting back, because the editors don't want that to ever happen. That's one of the few permanent changes in the Marvel universe. So I'm more talking about the story than this table. Let's see if we can talk about the table. Well, like I've said, this table is crazy. It has no multi-ball. It has no spinners. It's got a couple of things here. It's pop-up bumpers that come up and down. I'm not super impressed with the pop-up bumper coming up and down out of the table. I would kind of prefer
I've just
there'll
received
always
word
be
that the mighty
three.
Avenger Thor, thought dead for the last several months, has resurfaced and killed the Avenger known as Goliath. This is terrible.
So, yeah, this is talking about stuff even I don't know about. Right.
Hydra has chosen to side with Iron Man.
Hydra sides with Iron Man. Anybody Hydra sides with, then you definitely don't side with them. But maybe that's propaganda. Like, I'm bouncing the ball around here, but I'm not really starting modes. I'm not sure there's much of a chance to start modes. I hate these in-lane feeds. They're really, really bad.
This isn't what I wanted.
Not the in-lane feeds, but the
Not at
ramp
all.
feeds.
Today in Stamford, Connecticut,
And see,
a
I
violent
don't
clash
let-
between superheroes and
Press
supervillains
flippers
near
to
an
start
elementary
multiple.
school resulted in a
Press
monstrous
launch to skip it.
explosion. The recent call
So
for
flippers
superhuman
starts it.
registration has reached an all-time high
See, and
after
that's
this
confusing.
unspeakable tragedy.
Instead of doing
Got survivors over
launch
here.
to start the ball,
Picking up life signals over there.
this multi-ball is literally a different game.
More survivors by the school's north side.
And as soon as you lose one ball,
Moment of silence.
it's almost like,
Stanford that changed things for you, wasn't
I
it, Tony?
guess
Before
it,
that,
the
you
idea
went
is
to
that
Washington
Iron
to
Man
lobby
and
against the
Apple
Superhuman
and
Registration
Captain
Act.
America
It was coming anyway. I
are
always
working
thought
together, and
registration was
that's the last time
inevitable,
they
though I
worked
did try
together.
to delay it. But after Stanford, there was just no stopping it.
And see, the Marvel Universe is kind of just a weird universe where constant horrible things happen no matter what. So, people are just kind of used to it. I mean, every week in the Marvel Universe, there's some supervillain causing massive amount of damages, killing probably a lot more people than you would realize. All the superheroes kind of have to live in ignorant bliss. Because
I thought you said
in
you knew what
reality,
you were doing,
there's
Tony.
in reality, any of the events of any comic book in Marvel would end up in massive amounts of casualties. I mean, usually when there's a car wreck, at least a bad car wreck, at least one person is injured badly, if not killed.
Spider-Man
Imagine-
has joined to the pro-registration forces.
The game slowed down there to say that. That was annoying. Violating rule number 1 again. Don't slow down the gameplay. It's ridiculous. 8
Luke Cage
allies?
has decided to fight alongside Iron Man.
Like 8 allies is way too many. If it was something closer to hit the ramp 4 or 5 times and you get an ally, and there was maybe 6 allies, then it might make a little bit more sense. But they wanted 8 to just, I guess, promote more characters. They could get rid of Tigra and Sentry right now, and then the game would be a lot easier. And those aren't even big characters.
Activated.
And then if you really wanted to, you could get rid of Luke Cage and Vision, and then you'd get it down to 4 allies.
Evasive maneuver!
So I have 3 allies, the enemy has 0. So all I have to do is win. Come on, up the center ramp. Come on, I've got 18 seconds to get up that center section over there where the hovercraft is. We did it. So we're winning this fight. If we can get this next one. But I think it's this cross shot that they want me to make, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. And it feels like the time is slowed down. Yeah, I'm not going to make this. They gave me an impossible shot to make. See, and that's not fair. And while I'm in this fight
Spider-Man
mode,
has
nothing
teamed
else
with
is
Captain America.
going to work. Maybe I got more
Tony's
hits
people
than
are
the other
disappearing by
guy.
the hour.
It's really difficult to remember which side I even sided on, because I kind of want to play both, but I don't think the game changes any depending on which side you choose. And if the game doesn't change then
Tigra has chosen to side with Iron Man.
what's the point? What's the point of wasting the player's time saying,
Focus.
pick a
Get with the
side?
program.
They really want you to feel like this could be a thing. The problem here is the Civil War is not just on like strongly held ideological beliefs that I believe superheroes could share. Now, if they wanted to have a real Civil War, what they should do is get down to, should superheroes be able to have arresting power,
Has gone rogue
or
and
should
joined with
superheroes
Captain
be able
America.
to kill people with no repercussions? That's
This isn't what I wanted.
something that could happen more of.
Not at all.
If Captain America killed the Red Skull and
Today,
said,
in
we've
Stanford,
got to kill
a
these
violent clash
bad guys.
between superheroes and supervillains near
they
an
don't ever
elementary
learn.
school
There's no
resulted
person
in a
that can hold
monstrous
them.
explosion. The recent call
A
for
real
citizen
fight
registration
around,
has reached an all-time high after
moment
this
of silence.
unspeakable tragedy.
600 innocents lost their
Executions.
lives in Stanford, Steve, all because of reckless attempts at superheroics. Can I count on your support of the Superhuman Registration Act?
like,
I'm sorry, Tony, but you're asking me to arrest people who risk their lives for this country every day of the week. Superheroes need to stay above politics. Or Washington starts telling us who the supervillains are.
see, my flippers aren't responding the same way. There. It's slowing down the ball, and that feels really, really weird when the ball stops moving the way it should. So what more would I have
Ms.
here?
Marvel now
'Cause I have a lot
follows
of
Mr. Stark's orders.
Criticism of the Civil War storyline itself.
This isn't
But
exactly what I
how can we
signed up
fix the pinball? 37 minutes in here. Well, I would say a lot of this table is kind of more Shield / Iron Man related
Just in time.
than Captain America, so it seems a little unbalanced that way.
I've just received word that the mighty Avenger Thor,
The
thought
red-blue
dead the last
ramps.
several months, has resurfaced and killed the Avenger known as Goliath. This
Yeah.
is terrible.
We
So-
cloned Thor, Steve, but he went too far. It wasn't supposed to be like this.
No, it wasn't. Goliath's death is on you, Tony.
Oh, so
It's on
Thor
you.
was a clone, and he killed an Avenger. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Not. See, throughout the Civil War happening on every single Marvel comic book, they went really crazy with it. Probably because they were gonna reboot or reset everything, and they're doing Civil War 2 now, so they're probably gonna reset or reboot everything. Alright, so first thing to fix this table is get rid of the ramps. Give feeding to the flippers directly. That's awful. Second thing, I would get rid of this fight sequence being this red. It's a cool idea and all, but it needs some work. I would make the table a little
Ms.
bit
Marvel
easier.
is
I'm
Captain
losing
America's
balls
latest recruit.
kind of fast. I'd like to hear the voices of some of the other characters, because this really is getting played up at like it's just Iron Man and the
Tigra has chosen to side with
Iron Man and Captain America fighting each other, and everybody else
The
getting
Human
pulled
Torch
into it.
has joined with Captain America's Secret Avengers.
Yeah, if there was some more like well thought out arguments getting played in the story here. Yeah, this table suffers from what I would say is a bad license. I'd get rid of some of these ramps. I'd have an
That is a
upper
huge
play
leap
field.
forward.
Let's see if we can get in the safe house and see what happens there. Trying to land in the safe house. definitely add some spinners. I might move the bumpers around. I'm not a huge fan of the bumpers being
Not at all.
in the lower left section. I've seen some tables do that. And it's not my
Today
favorite
in
position.
600 innocents lost their lives in
Oops,
Stanford,
skipped the
Steve,
multi-ball.
all because of reckless attempts at superheroics.
The
Your
bumpers
support of the
pop-up
Superhuman
bumpers
Registration Act?
are actually misplaced.
Sorry, Tony.
I can clearly
but you're
see
asking
them
me to arrest
misplaced.
people who risk
They-
their lives for this
it
country
leaves a
every day of the
really
week.
wide lane.
Superheroes need to stay above politics, or Washington starts
they need
telling
to
us
be
who the
closer
supervillains
together.
are.
I would have some
Human
shield
Torch
element
has
here.
sided
Unless,
with Iron Man.
so this is Human Torch there. I'm not sure if I'm getting allies or if I'm losing
That is a huge
allies.
leap forward.
Tony's people are disappearing by the hour.
And what were all the villains doing during this time? They're probably just staying out of it, watching the superheroes fight each other.
I've just received word that the mighty Avenger Thor, thought dead for the last several months, has resurfaced and killed the Avenger known as Goliath. This is terrible.
You
So
cloned Thor, Steve, but he went too far.
maneuver.
It wasn't supposed to be like this.
So Iron Man makes it worse. Iron Man has a tendency to make it worse, it seems. I'm not gonna get this in time. Ah, he actually did. Got that one. Too, but then it's just gonna have this cross shot, and I'm not gonna be able to hit the cross shot. I've got to get the ball way up
Human
there.
Torch has joined with Captain America's Secret Avengers.
What I would do if after all this, and what you would just think would logically happen is, as the superheroes are fighting amongst each other, I bet the villains should just get a meeting together between each other and form a anti-Avengers, just a huge conglomeration. And once the Civil War is finally finished, then they should just attack while everybody is beaten down and tired. And see, that would be the best solution to it, the Civil War. Put a huge twist on it. Have the Civil War look like it's about to end, then have all the villains that you haven't seen for issue after issue show up, kill everybody. Like, all
Just
the
in
big
time.
top tier superheroes, and just say, nope. Only the lowest of the low people are gonna survive just because they were missed, and they're gonna all be in hiding. Then you could really show what happens when the good guys don't work together. And that message is just not said. Like, but to get back to the table, I would want an under the field play table. There's enough. There's
Ms.
enough
Marvel
here.
is Captain America's latest recruit.
Enough space. I would want to be able to start missions easier. It doesn't feel like there really are missions. It feels more it's just like getting people on your side.
This isn't what I wanted.
There is a factor here that if we're getting more balls on our
Stanford
side,
changed things for you, wasn't it, Tony? Before that, you went
why
to
not-
Washington to lobby against the Superhuman Registration
why
Act.
not have every time you get an ally, another ball in the
It was
multi-ball?
coming anyway.
And then it could be
I
an
always thought
8-ball
registration was
multi-ball.
inevitable, though I did try to delay it. But after Stanford, there's just no stopping it.
Like, and so Iron Man even is admitting here the only reason why he's agreeing to the registration is because he thinks it's
Vision has
politically
joined the pro-registration side.
the
Nice
politically more likely outcome. So he's just playing politics instead of standing to an ideology. Iron Man, in a lot of ways, kind of is being portrayed here in the wrong fashion, because the Iron Man that I know is a person who made war weapons and then is literally created Iron Man suit to stop war, and he runs around and destroys missiles and bombs and everything. He is so anti-government and anti-military technology.
I've just received word that the
he
mighty
created
Avenger Thor,
most
thought
of.
dead for the last several months, has resurfaced and killed
And
the
the story
Avenger
is
known
just
as
playing
Goliath.
over and over again. So
This is
I'm
terrible.
not getting to the
You
end of the
cloned
story
Thor,
always.
Steve, but he went too far. It wasn't supposed to be like this.
No, it wasn't. Goliath's death is on you, Tony. It's on you.
Goliath was really probably the only guy I bet that died in the entire Civil War.
Human Torch has sided with Iron Man.
I might be able to hit the dead shot dropper easier here. I don't like the way the ramp, that blue ramp on the left, spins around back to itself. It doesn't do a figure eight. It does just a circle, and that means the left flipper could
Cage
potentially
has
never be
decided to
used.
fight alongside Iron Man.
So, unlike a lot of tables here where I wouldn't want to play them because they're boring, the reason why I wouldn't want to play Civil War is because it's insane. It's not respecting what pinball is in a lot of factors. It's not giving us missions, it's not giving us combo multipliers that I can see, it's not giving us a real multi-ball. It's got way too many ramps, it's got way too many things at the top playfield and nothing at the lower playfield. It doesn't even respect the overpasses going to in lanes, which almost every single pinball table does that for a very good reason. This game isn't giving me a lot of control with the ball. It's a little too difficult. And it's so focused around telling a tale and being this thematic thing, which we've seen in some of the Star Wars ones too, where the Star Wars tables just want to tell the story of Star Wars and the pinball be banned. So can I make this shot? I don't think so, not with the left flipper. Yeah, I'm not gonna hit it.
The Sentry now supports superhuman registration.
I don't even know who the Sentry is.
Not fighting for the people anymore. We're
It
just
doesn't seem like
fighting.
there's an
Stand
easy way to
down.
get kickbacks. And my highest
Today
score has
in
been 9
Stamford,
million, and
Connecticut,
I'm not
a
really
violent-
expecting.
600 innocents lost their lives in Stamford, Steve. All
It
because
seems
of
like it
reckless attempts at
randomly
superheroics.
chooses what
Can
the
I count on your
default
support of the Superhuman Registration
side
Act?
is. So if you just hit A,
I'm sorry,
you'll
Tony,
immediately
but
go
you're asking me to arrest people who
to,
risk their lives for this country every day of the week. Superheroes need to stay above politics, or Washington starts telling us who the supervillains are.
Now, interesting in that phrase there, he said superheroes that risk their life for this country. Like, when it really should have been the world. That's a writing mistake, clearly. Because the Registration Act, as it is in Marvel now, is a full-on world initiative. And that's kind of part of the problem, is that certain countries might tell them to join their militaries. Like, I believe China is making all of the Inhumans in the Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series join the military. Or they may very well try to, certain countries may just try to get rid
has
of all
declared herself against registration.
superheroes, or they may tell the superheroes to attack their enemy countries and continuing wars between other
This isn't exactly what I signed up for.
like other countries. Like that's it really just spits in the face of the entire idea of a secret identity. So as much as this table doesn't respect pinball in a lot of ways, the idea of Civil War, which I guess I have a way more bigger problem. I didn't realize I had such a big problem with Civil War until I started talking about it. Because I don't even read Marvel comics, so I have no care about it. But the Civil War series just
Benjamin Grimm, also
turns
known
a
as the
blind
Thing,
eye
has left
to the
Fantastic
whole
Four
default
and the country
reason.
after an epic battle among heroes.
It's all insanity out there. I
like
don't
for
want
having
no
this secret
part.
identity in the
Families
first
torn
place.
apart. Old friends fighting
Now
one
the
another.
Fantastic Four
Stop
are
resisting the Registration Act.
one
and
of
help me
the
change
few
things from within.
superheroes
What?
that don't
A
keep a
cell?
secret identity.
Because whether or not you can see the bars, that's where we'd all be.
And again, every single argument Captain America makes should be coming from Iron Man, and vice versa. Knowing these personalities somewhat, it's strange. It's almost like they're
these
doing
people
a
are
debate
disappearing
where
by the hour.
they're debating sides they don't actually believe in. Oh, I don't like that. I like it's a cool idea, that sync target with the edges that helps it direct where the ball is gonna go. But I don't like the direction it just shot it, because it almost lost the ball for me. Look at how many times I've hit the bumpers, by the way. That's why you don't want the bumpers in that position, and that's why even when I do hit the bumpers, they're not getting a ton of progress or hits off each other. They're totally in the wrong place.
Spider-Man has teamed with Captain America.
So I think I just lost an ally. And I have skipped the beginning multi-ball a lot of times on accident here. Like, I've meant to skip it once or twice, but the other times I keep just hitting the launch button, assuming that would start the multi-ball. But instead it doesn't.
The Sentry now strengthens the resistance.
This isn't what I wanted. Not at all.
And there's no mention of Bucky, which he played a part of the Civil War, I believe, in the movie. But
Today,
I
in
guess he
Stamford,
didn't.
Connecticut, a violent clash between superheroes and
flippers here to
supervillains
start this.
near an elementary school resulted in a monstrous explosion. The recent call for superhuman registration has reached an all-time high after this unspeakable
Picking up life
tragedy.
signals over there. No survivors by the school's north side.
And no matter what you do in this multi-ball, which is a 2-ball multi-ball, you're not gonna win the whole game. And it doesn't seem like there's a jackpot or
Moment of
anything.
silence.
So yeah, the
Past
whole game
heroes have
has
been a part of this country for as long
no
as anyone
jackpot,
can
no super
remember.
jackpot.
Registration takes
Skill
away
shot,
any freedom we might have, any autonomy.
is somewhere there.
Heroes didn't cause what happened at Stamford, Tony. Villains did.
You think I don't know that? Registration won't stop every tragedy, Steve, but people in our position need accountability. I wish
A
it
lot of
didn't have to be this way.
distractions here. A lot of talking, a lot of the TV news broadcasts.
The Human Torch has sided with Iron Man.
And
Vision has
almost
joined the pro-registration side.
every time I'm sitting here,
Hydra
it
has
sounds
chosen to side with Iron Man.
like everybody is siding against me
How did it come to this?
right now, and that seems ridiculous. And it seems really ridiculous you can't choose. And maybe if they put this, I don't know. I would say this table probably should be you're actually fighting specific people. So choose if you chose to play as Iron Man or Captain America. If they're gonna do the choose, that's fine. But then there should be a mission where you fight Spider-Man instead of convince Spider-Man, because there's a lot of assumed conversations going on in the background here, where we get people to decide instead of fight them or do anything. Have a mission there that makes sense. Fight alongside them would be better than actually fighting them. So do a mission with Spider-Man. If you succeed the mission, he joins your side. If you fail the mission,
Benjamin Grimm, also known as the Thing, has left the Fantastic Four and the country after an epic battle among heroes.
It's all
and see,
insanity out there.
it's the same story
I don't
over
want
and
no
over.
part of it.
Evasive maneuver.
I think I'd much rather go watch the movie or read the comic book series or just read the Wikipedia of the Civil War and get the general gist of it, since it would be a pretty huge commitment to read all
Someone
the
knows
books
your next
that
move
were
before you
released
begin.
during Civil War. The old Civil War I'm talking about, not the new one. Although sometimes when there's big events, they sell a really big book combining all of it. So there probably is a Marvel Civil War book out there that you'd probably end up paying like close to $100 for hardback, and maybe you could get it in trade paperback for a little bit cheaper. Again, does it really matter? Is it necessary to see any of this? No, because it's just all going to be undone within a year.
Fall back, Avengers! Regroup!
Civil War really didn't leave lasting scars on the Marvel Universe.
Nice move.
Is there anything else? I keep thinking that there should be like a helicopter where you have them all land or ride the blades of the helicopter in one of these, but I don't know if that would work with the type of helicopter shields used.
Incoming hit.
That was weird. Weird magical ramp out of nowhere. They certainly could have tried something new here.
Hold on. We're gonna win this.
Vision has become part of the outlawed Secret Avengers.
So I think I
Not
got
fighting
one
for the
on my
people
side.
anymore. We're just fighting. Stand down.
So, like, I can't even really think of what needs to be improved on this table. I think so much needs to be improved, and the fact that it's just Civil War is throwing me more than anything else. Anyways, our best score was 9 million. I don't think I'd ever play this table again. It gives me a super score of 1,482, and multiply that by the 36 tables we played, that gives me a wizard score of 53,352. So let's go back to the main menu now. That being said, even though I don't think I'd go back to Civil War, I think it's not as bad as some of these other ones, like Deadpool, Venom was pretty awful, Ant-Man was pretty bad, Avengers was downright awful. So, Marvel's The Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, okay, so that'll be the next one we do as far as the Marvel things. But next time we're going to do Star Wars, then we'll come back and do Avengers, and then we'll do Excalibur, that's right. Let's look at the leaderboards while we're here. Even here you can see that the people who are probably cheating can't get scores that high here. 700 million, 600 million, then a very sharp drop off to 180 million. So if I got 9 million and somebody can do 20 times better than me, totally believe it. Totally believe it that this is a legitimate score. Don't particularly believe that these are. And then Super Score is the same for everybody. Pinball Wizard is effective with Super Score, so it's the same for everybody. The Challenge, the Pinball King, the local scores, all of that. Let's see. Just trying to double check. What were the achievements before we wrap up too? Save Captain's Ball from draining down the out lanes. Start all game modes with corresponding Avengers Balls. I don't even know how that starts. So both of these seem to be related to the multi-ball at the beginning. It seems like. Yeah, crazy table, crazy concept in general, like Civil War. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me further, you can click on my name Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.